Hi and welcome to my very 9th YouTube video. In this video I'm not going to give just one of the Oasis Springs modern houses a Mediterranean makeover, but 4 of them, because I have to do that for a lot of houses in Oasis Springs, and I thought if I would do a separate video to every single one of them it would get quite repetitive, so I mashed them together to a short little time lapse for each and every one of them and show them to you in this little video. The first house that I'm going to tackle is the home of the Cooper sisters that you maybe know from my Meet My Townies video. And because they are 2 adult women, I of course want to make this a 2-bedroom house so that each one of them can have her own little private space. I also had to remove the entire kitchen from the build first because I built the front door in the space where the kitchen was meant to go. So with that I had to rearrange the entire living, dining, kitchen area a bit to be laid out differently, but it all worked out in the end, I think. And I don't know if I like the new layout more or the old layout more, but I definitely like this little bump out space for the front door. So I just changed it, and I also really like how it is now. And I decided to create a new little nook for the kitchen next to a bathroom, very near the backyard, and I think that was a nice little space and it fit there very well. This bedroom already had these bright green walls in the original build, and my first instinct was to change them because that's what I usually do. I don't build with these super bright and vibrant colors, but this time I wanted to keep them, and I just went all the way with the green, used a lot of green furniture, and it was really fun. And so I decided that this would be the bedroom of Etienne Annelies Cooper. You might know her if you watched the Townies video. If not, doesn't matter, because yeah, she's just a very open and extroverted and playful character, so I thought such a colorful room would really fit her personality and she would really like it, so it worked out perfectly to go bright and colorful with that bedroom. In the living area I placed the dining table in the very middle of the room, very central, just to take up some of that massive space that is there and to make it feel more lived in and without that much empty space. Afterwards, for Lorette's bedroom, I went with more muted tones and wanted to create a very adult and severe seeming bedroom. But from the original floor plan there still was a 3rd bedroom left, but for these 2 Sims in this point in time there is no like baby on the horizon or stuff. So I made the 3rd bedroom into a study room because I think your Sims can always use that, and also bookshelves are always useful in The Sims. Then I got to the backyard, and there was this large open space and still some money left, so I put a pool there because with that climate in Oasis Springs I think most Sims would appreciate a little pool in their garden, and if there's the possibility, why not? And now there's just a little bit of landscaping left to do and this house is complete. With this second house, I have to say the original house, especially from the outside, looked pretty bland, And it's also a super duper starter house. I think the original was just like 15,000 simoleons. I unfortunately had to make it a little bit more expensive after I did the makeover. I think it costs around 17 or 18,000 simoleons, but I mean, it's still a starter house. It's still affordable if you first start out, and that additional money really helped me to make the house feel more lived in and more decorated and just overall more cozy. To give the house a little bit more life and to make it look a lot cuter, the debug items came in really handy again, because that basically gave me a free way of landscaping, and I think that helped this build in particular out quite a lot. When I got to the inside, I tackled the floor plan first, because there wasn't much of a floor plan. Even the bedroom didn't even have a door. The first thing I did was to move the bathroom to another position, because I thought before it divided the entire living space in kind of a weird way with just being there in the middle. But when I moved it to the corner, it on the one hand opened up the living space a bit, so that I could freely decide where I wanted to have the bedroom and the living room and the dining area and stuff. And also it created a little nook next to it where I could later perfectly place a little desk and a little space to study. At first I even placed a computer on that desk, but in the end there just wasn't enough money, so I had to take it away again. And I also used a little bit higher funds than with the original build to buy a larger dining table that I could place in the very central of the room, just to fill some space and have that central point like with the house before. I also placed a little easel in the corner, because William, the sim that lives here, really likes to paint, and even if your sims want to use this house later, if you would play with the save file, you could just move him out and it still would be awesome to have an early way to make some money directly in your house. So I thought the easel would be a very good idea. The next and third house had the most unique exterior, I think, out of the four, because it has that large patio on the front and that large patio on the side, and it was really uniquely roofed, which I kind of liked, but of course it didn't fit with the other Mediterranean builds, and I couldn't keep it modern because of that, because that would kind of be weird in that neighborhood then. So I had to change it, and to make that roof and that part of the house look good with roofs was a struggle. It was a big struggle. I fiddled around with roofs for so long, and roofs parts and separates and stuff, and what you see is sped up and just the successful attempt at roofing it. So be happy that it's sped up, because it took a long time. Afterwards, I wanted to give this house a little bit more of a backyard. I wanted to make a little stone area where later there could be a grill and a little seating area for people to eat outside and just hang out. And I also landscaped a bit to make their garden and also their front of the house look a little bit nicer. But the grill and the seating area outside did cost some money, and because of that I had to make the house a little bit smaller in the front to have some funds left to do something with the inside. But because of my changes to the outside, the front door of the house now led into the bedroom, and that was kind of weird. And because of that, I had to change the floor plan and basically swap the bedroom and the living room. And now with the floor plan, I had basically what I wanted to avoid with the house before that, and that is to have the bathroom as a divider between the kitchen and the living room. And I didn't think it looked too nice, and if I did have a little bit more funds, I probably would have put 2 walls down to make a hallway space on the entrance and between the living room and the kitchen. But because I didn't have enough simoleons, it's just one space divided by the bathroom. And with the color scheme, I wanted to keep it very black and white and have also these woods, but wood painted black and white, because I thought that had a very nice look to it. Now, the fourth and final house was very different than the others, because with this house I didn't have to do a style transformation, because this house already had the Mediterranean style. But I thought I would still renovate it and keep the style, but just try to make it a little bit better. But on the inside, this house is really empty, and I knew to make it better, I had to have some money to change something and add something on the inside. So I sold all the plans to exchange them to debug plans that doesn't cost money later. And I also thought it was really weird how the walls were pretty high, but the windows were kind of small. So I made the wall height a little bit smaller and added a lot of windows, because it was really dark inside there, and I thought this house really needed some windows. When I got to the interior, I did some things that I didn't necessarily do with the other builds, being that I sold almost all of the furniture, and I also made the house significantly smaller, because it didn't need to be that big for the amount of furniture that was going to be placed in it with the little fans that were there. And then I was ready to place some lights and furnish the house like a blank canvas almost, even though I kept in mind where which area went in the original build. In the bedroom, because I chose a pretty dark flooring, I wanted to choose pretty light furniture, like a light beige and very light wood colors to furnish, so that I would have a nice contrast. And I also wanted to change out the doors to cheaper doors that look, I think, even nicer, because the old ones were very extra and big, and these ones are a little bit more simple, but I like them. In the kitchen, I also knew that I had to use the cheapest kitchen appliances, and I just think those look the best in black. So for me, it wasn't even a question which color I would use, and I really like the stone backdrop for the kitchen, because it gives this nice industrial kitchen look. But for the flooring, I wanted to mirror that nice cream white that I had going on in the rest of the build, and I found some tile that fit that perfectly. I also decided to keep the second bedroom empty, just because I didn't have enough simoleons, but I think if you play with the house, it's also nice to have a great space that you can just do whatever you like with, and that's what this can be used for. And now that this house is almost complete, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video, and if you would consider subscribing, you would make me super duper happy, and I hope we'll see each other again.